It's George back with another edition of Secular Trends. It's been a few weeks, but getting back to it. One thing I do always put out my written research. I don't always get to the videos, so feel free to sign up for that report. It's free. There's a link below, but if you want to stay on top of this stuff every week, in case I don't get to a video, it's got a lot going on. You're welcome to sign up and share it with other people. So, anyway, okay. So this week, one of the things I do occasionally is look at the indexes and see which stocks are doing the best. And for several months now, three stocks have really stood out as the best performers year to date in over 52 weeks in the S&P and the Nasdaq. And those are SanDisk, Western Digital, and Seagate Technologies. Tickers are SNDK, WDC, and STX. And all three of these are part of an industry called computer storage device. And I kind of conceptually knew that because of what I was reading online, essentially that these stocks are going crazy, just going up a ton because there's a lot of demand for AI. But what I hadn't done until this week is actually gone in and seen what the executives are saying. And I find that to be helpful at times because it can sort of confirm and give you a firsthand account from an expert and an authority on what's happening. So I read some of the earnings transcripts from all three companies and really came down to I want to share information from Western Digital because I think they did the best job of putting things in big picture terms that are somewhat layman friendly. There's some jargon in here, but anyway, without further ado, I will read what they had to say. So, looking at the bigger picture, it is clear that data and data storage are becoming more critical and more valuable. As AI workloads extend from training to large scale inferencing, data generation is at an inflection point. This year, inference is expected to account for roughly two-thirds of all AI compute. This larger focus on inference increases the amount of data generated, which in turn increases the need for data storage. The scale of what is happening is also considerable. One leading hyperscaler's LLM processes over 16 billion tokens per minute via direct API used by their customers, while another AI company processes over 2.5 billion prompts every single day from 900 million active users. While the resources that are used to create tokens are recycled, the data that is being created must be stored. Every token, every prompt, and every query answered and checkpoint saved creates data that requires persistent, scalable, and cost efficient storage. And the majority of this data is stored on hard disk drives. Okay, so that's the first thing they said. Next, they said, as we look ahead, we see the rise of agentic AI, and I've talked about that and written about that. It's one of the biggest trends that I'm seeing executives talk to. But anyway, back to Western Digital. The next we see the rise of agentic AI, the next wave, and arguably the biggest yet. What we are seeing with agentic AI frameworks represents a structural shift from AI that answers questions to AI that continuously executes workflows. That transition materially increases data generation and extends data retention cycles. Every hour of autonomous agent work and every action an agent takes creates data that must be stored. As a result, we expect agentic AI to drive a step function increase in capacity oriented storage demand, particularly in cloud and enterprise environments. And they continued. Beyond agentic AI, two more waves are building simultaneously. Synthetic data, the primary fuel for physical AI, is by design orders of magnitude larger than real world inputs that seed it. Across industries, physical AI data factory frameworks are being designed to transform limited training data into larger synthetic data sets at scale for robotics, autonomous vehicles, and vision AI. And physical AI itself, robots, industrial systems, autonomous fleets, generates continuous streams of video, sensor, and motion data that must be stored, versioned, and fed back into training loops. These forces are not additive, they are a compounding loop. Inference creates data, agents consume and generate more data, physical AI creates data and trains synthetic models that create more data, and ultimately the loop accelerates. So, I did say this is mostly layman friendly, but not entirely. But basically, it's just data on data on data. It's stacking on and it's just growing. And the keyword that they repeat over and over is data that must be stored, data that must be stored. So all this data has to go somewhere. And at the moment, I expected the agentic AI trend to take off, but it seems to be mostly manifesting itself in the storage. One thing I've found from years of doing this is like sell shovels. Data storage is the shovel that empowers AI. So anyway, final comment from them is we are truly seeing that AI driven data, sorry, I'll start over. We are truly seeing that the AI driven data economy is creating an unprecedented demand for high capacity, reliable, and high performance storage on HDDs. This reinforces our conviction that long term data storage growth will be greater than 25% compound annual growth rate. So that's a pretty strong compound annual growth rate. They're expecting that to keep up. As far as the returns on these stocks, this is as of a few hours ago, so so mindful they change a lot. But in the last 52 weeks, SanDisk is up almost 4,400%. Western Digital is up just over 1,100%, and Seagate Technologies is up 724%. I wonder how these percentages are going to look in 3, 6, or 12 months. So that's it for this week. I'll try to be back next week again. If I'm not, feel free to sign up for the written work, which I always get out once a week. And thanks for listening.